Hello friends, I am Dr. Altinay from India. In this small video, I will be talking about my reflections on the topic role of distance education in special education, which was presented by Dr. Zehra Altinay Gazi and Dr. Fahriye Altinay Aksai. They are from the New East University. They both of them presented at the MOOC 3. So in this small presentation we will be talking about the different aspects of distance education and how distance education is useful for people who are differently abled. As I have already said, they are from the Near East University. That is the title of the presenters we can see here, that is the role of distance education in special education. And both of them are professors, associate professors in the same university. They have worked for different capacities, for different responsibilities, like chair of societal research, coordinator for platform of abstracted information communication technology, board member of distance education center, Near East University, TED Education and Science Journal. They are the editors, and consultant for higher education planning, evaluation and coordination council. They have also been members of the British Education Research Association, e-learning association, association of education and communication technology. So it is a great opportunity for all of us to listen to these presenters. First of all, the presenters have defined distance education. As all of us know, distance education, unlike the traditional teaching and learning methods, it represents and reflects the kind of education activities where teacher, learner and teaching materials are formed by the support of information and communication technologies. So, significance of distance education, what does it mean? Distance education plays a significant role in supporting the role of education for every individual. Diverse educational needs can be supported by distance education. That is the reason why the presenters, both of them are visible here. They have taken up this topic, that is the importance of the role of distance education in special education. So they also focus upon equal opportunities for learning through distance education. So distance education can also support lifelong learning. It can also integrate advantages of information communication technology to broaden the scope. Diverse education services are also available under distance education with special needs, and it also requires learner focused education, and most importantly it is also economic. So if we consider the advantages of distance education, we will see that it is a kind of education which provides an opportunity for education at the same time everywhere, anyone, anytime, anywhere. It saves in terms of time and place and economy. It interacts with very diverse learning methods, and simultaneous feedback from the learners for the learners is also available if it is online distance education. There are some disadvantages that also they talked about, like non-existent face-to-face expressing and communicating, social presence and socialization, which is rarely seen in most of the distance education institutions, and problems in overcoming the learning difficulties. In the face-to-face classroom, it is very possible for the teacher to overcome the difficulties, but in an online class, it is not always the case. And most importantly, the behavioral education of the children cannot be controlled. That's what they propose here. So what do they propose for these problems? So they want that there should be unobstructed information communication technology by distance education. When communication technology is put to the advantage of the learners, that's what they have proposed in this presentation. It should be unobstructed. If a communication technology is used and it is not useful to the people, then it is meaningless. In the digital age, the use of information communication technology fosters equality, sharing and synergy among the learners. This is very important, because in a face-to-face class, all the learners of different categories and classes are together. So there is a possibility of distinction on the basis of their age, color, caste, etc. Whereas in the use of information technology in the online classes, there is synergy among the learners and there is equality also. So social networking also becomes tools for facilitating various ways of learning to the diverse groups of learners. Distance education is an alternative way of learning and teaching to make bridge to special education. This is very important because it can play a very important role in bridging the gap between the needs of the people with disabilities and the needs of the society. It is a bridge to make unobstructed to information communication technology for equality. Then we come to the next, they discuss the next important aspect in this lesson, that is, what is special education? Special education is used to describe the wide range of supports, programs and placements for learners who need different teaching methods for special equipment to allow them to be successful in the learning process. As they have put it here, so special education is very important. It requires different methods for the learners with disabilities. So what are the needs of these learners? They are the learning disabilities, communication disabilities, emotional and behavioral disorders, physical disabilities and developmental disabilities. So all these disabilities they talk about in this presentation. Different approaches to teaching, the use of technology, a specially adapted teaching area can be beneficial to the learners. Instructional techniques in special education. As we know, an accommodation is reasonable adjustment to teaching practices, changing the presentation, response, setting or scheduling of the lessons. A modification changes or adapts the material to make it simpler. It is seen that distance education plays a great role in special education. Now let us come to traditional versus technology and distance education. ICT is a great mediator in special education and distance education in an alternative learning teaching way to facilitate equality by the tools. We have already talked about that. So they talk about the different types of tools which are used. Inclusion, equality can be achieved by distance education. Diversity can also be seen through inclusive education by the support of distance education opportunities. One more thing, with the help of technology in special education in particular, we can make the learning faster and easier. Computer programs, online tests and supervisions, they could be provided online. Multimedia forms of interaction, that is also there. And communication is a key for removing barriers where distance education fosters social presence on the internet. So another advantage of distance learning is the special education, reducing the cost. We all of us know distance education is a very good solution for all the problems in education, particularly people who are suffering with different disabilities and from lower backgrounds. It is inevitable to support disabled people and integrate them into the society. In order to provide equal opportunities in distance learning, our duty must be to support the disabled individuals by information technology and also provide a wider vision. So we can see that in course of that discussion, they give the definition of distance education first, then the definition of special education, now the need of special ICT in special education. Now they compare special education, distance education. It is very much possible to provide an atmosphere for adaptation to independent life and social learning, creating a social life harmony including the disabled people by active participation through various projects and seminars. Career support can also be given to increase the employment opportunities. Social networking and inclusion can also be done. So technology to be used by individuals in distance learning. Internet can be used by them, web pages can be used by them, text-based materials can be used by them, conferences can be also done through telephones, and video cassettes and voice records can also be provided to people with different disabilities. There are some obstacles in distance learning they also talk about, like the use of internet technology, which removes these obstacles, and otherwise distance learning is not very successful. Although the online resources and web technologies seem to be temporary form of physically disabled education, the visually handicapped and hearing impaired individuals, there is not enough efficient kind of distance learning materials for education. There are printed materials, online technologies are there, but for people who are studying at a distance, particularly the visually challenged and the hearing impaired people, there has not been sufficient technology. So that is the problem that they talk about here. So the focus should be on the existing distance learning opportunities for the disabled individuals, reforming the existing distance education that they also talk about, providing distance learning non-discriminatively and respectively to the disabled people. Essential designing criteria should be created for the needs of the disabled. Optimum essentials should be originated in order to provide simultaneous access in distance learning, and special education guides should be organized in order to provide directions for efficient use of different forms of disabilities. So there have been many obstacles observed, and we can see that blindness, it is one of these. In order to support the visual handicapped people, there must be software that converts screen reading type, chart, note taking, surveys, questionnaire simultaneously to help the audio hearing format for the distance learning systems. Then visually handicapped people are also there. For them also software should be developed. Okay. Then for disabled people who cannot use their hands, alternative mouse or keypad can be designed, and audio video recorders can be used for different people who have different problems. Now we have already talked about that. People who have problem of deafness, then people with partial disability or learning disabilities, they can also be helped with the help of voice over e-books, so that they can listen to them and learn it. There are also people who suffer from stammering. These people can also be helped with the help of technology. There are also people suffering from paralysis. These people can also be helped with different kinds of technology, so that they are able to learn very successfully. So it is very important for these people, for the educationists, to design distance education and ICT, to integrate them in such a way that there is synergy, there is social networking among the differently abled people, and so that we are able to bridge the gap between the differently abled and the mainstream of life. So unobstructed information communication technology will be possible. As what have I learned from this presentation? As I am an administrator working in the field of distance education, I was greatly benefited from the deliberations in this presentation. Distance education can play a crucial role in integrating the differently abled people with the society. People suffering from disabilities could be provided with specially designed tools to make ICT accessible to them. One candle cannot lose its light if it can be a light to others. We should be light to others so that the lives of the different people are improved. There is an urgent need to create online tools to help the differently abled people socialize. Efforts should be made to upgrade ICT facilities to ensure social networking, social inclusion and engagement of the people with disabilities. My plans, I will ensure that my office has all the required software to help the differently abled students join the mainstream of life. I will appeal my university authorities to provide necessary software to the learner support centers to make them friendly to the people with disabilities. I will learn the use of such technologies so that I can be of help to people with disabilities in overcoming the barriers in their learning. Thank you very much.